Mag is a Warframe that you might see recommended to newer players every now and again. If you're a newer player and have been recommended Mag and you don't know what she does, in this video I'm going to be explaining expectations for Mag. Now, her abilities are all incredibly simple. So first things first, before anything else, pull. All you need to understand about this one is it pulls enemies towards you. Pretty simple. It crowd controls them a little bit, and it deals magnetic damage, which is useful for shredding corpus shields. Magnetize, if you tap it, it will bring all the enemies into a nice circle around them, and then any bullet or projectile you shoot into there will head towards the enemy at the middle. Now, if there's a group of enemies, it'll all go straight to the group of enemies in the middle, and it'll continuously dealing damage over and over again. And if you have punch through, it'll deal this damage even more. At the end, it will explode into a nice big culminating explosion damage that can deal millions of damage, provided you did enough damage to begin with. If you hold it, you're just going to absorb bullets that came towards you. You can still be hit with melees, you can still be hit with AoE attacks and status effects and stuff like that. It only works for bullets, but at the end, you'll send it out in a wave. It won't deal a lot of damage, but it'll deal some. This is something most people wouldn't usually use. And you only have an angle on this one, which means you can still be hit from certain angles, which is very tedious, which means positioning is incredibly important. Next is Polarize. Polarize drains enemy shields and armor, which restores yours and your allies' shields as well. Now, this is important because you have to learn to cast this at certain times so you can reload your shields before you die, because she is incredibly squishy with low health and low armor. Shields is her main thing. Next is Crush. This just breaks the enemies. Does a shit ton of magnetic damage. Doesn't do too much damage, but it'll strip their shields pretty nicely. And it will strip their armor as well. Should you have the Fracture and Crush augment mod, they'll be stripped of their armor and you'll have some nice casting speed. This is almost a necessary augment mod for her. Armor reduction is incredibly important in just everyday gameplay. Now, with the abilities out of the way with that brief explanation, she has a very active playstyle. As I mentioned with her abilities, she's going to be crowd controlling a lot. You don't have high survivability at all. With a mag, you're going to be incredibly low on survivability at all times. Casting your third ability, Polarize, is incredibly important because you're going to need to keep your shields upkeep, because the moment that invincibility period of your shield is gone, you will pretty much be dead instantaneously. It is incredibly sad. So shield gating is incredibly important through her. Luckily, in most cases, you won't be jumping around like an idiot like I just was. You'll be casting it and then repositioning yourself if at all possible, or immediately casting your second ability, Magnetize, in order to bring all the enemies right on top of each other, and then using Pull to bring whatever enemies aren't in the bubble into it, and then using Crush to strip their armor, and then shooting inside the bubble so all the damage will go towards the enemies and just propagate into dealing that nice big explosion I talked about. It is a lot. You do have to focus on a lot. You have to focus on enemy positioning, your health, your shields, especially so you know when to use your third ability, and then how much energy you have, because she is very energy consuming. With all this ability casting, you're going to need to make sure you're always topped out on your energy. Now, with this kind of playstyle naturally comes a steep learning curve. It'll feel awkward, it may feel clunky even, but it's important that you focus on crowd controlling enemies rather than trying to tank damage or deal damage through her abilities. She focuses heavily more on crowd controlling the enemies, armor stripping them, and then helping out the team that way, and helping out herself naturally that way too. Now, the payoff for this is once you learn how to do this, once everything kind of falls into place and you get the rhythm down, you're going to be shredding rooms like crazy. Mag will feel like the strongest frame in the damn game. But in order to do this, you do have to have good weapons. Your weapons matter immensely with Mag. If you come from playing a Warframe like Nezha, Sevagoth, Revenant, Uriel, any one of the new frames essentially, you might come in thinking she might be good without a weapon. You'd be so wrong in that thinking, it's insane. Mag's only form of damage dealing pretty much is through her weapons. Now, let's say, for instance, you have a good weapon. If you have a good weapon, you lock them in, you use Fracture and Crush, armor stripping them, then you shoot inside the bubble, and then even if you only shoot 2 or 3 times, it'll just keep dealing damage over and over again, and then by the time it ends, it'll deal millions of damage. Now let's say you have a bad weapon, a weapon you didn't build up properly, whether because you lacked the former, lacked the mods, lacked the know-how. Regardless of the reason, you could still do the exact same thing, magnetize them, crush them, and then shoot inside. But even if you unload your mag until all of your bullets are gone, even when that big crush comes, it won't deal enough damage to kill them at all. It'll be underwhelming, it'll be disappointing, and she'll feel like the weakest frame in the game instead of the strongest. This is another problem a lot of mag players have that I've seen, is that they just didn't come in with good enough weapons and they suffered for it. So with that being said, the players that would like mag are those that pretty much enjoy constantly active gameplay and worrying about their own survivability, because you will be worrying constantly about your own survivability because she doesn't have damage reduction like I mentioned. She strictly has either absorbing bullets, which isn't that good in my opinion, or crowd controlling enemies, or restoring her own shields. So if you enjoy crowd control, you'll love her. If you are one of the people that enjoy shield gating, you'll also love her. If you enjoy active ability gameplay, she'll be perfect. But if you want a more relaxing experience, if you want to be chill, cast abilities every few minutes, you won't like her at all. So if you want a Warframe that is very forgiving, somebody that can stand the test of time and you could stand still for maybe an hour before you die, check out Revenant. I hate to say it, I know a lot of people bring up Revenant on frames that are kind of like annoying in that regard, but he can literally survive the heat death of the universe. So if you want a frame that could survive with no problem, Rhino, Revenant, Neja, these kind of frames will be able to survive anything. Inaros is a good option as well. And with that being said, that's pretty much just about it. Now, in the video, I don't mean to make Mag sound bad at all. I do think she's a fantastic frame. I don't know how talking about the negatives of her came off, but I do want to reiterate that she is a good frame. She just has a steeper learning curve than other frames, and a heavier requirement on the weapons you use. And so with that being said, until next time.